good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Security Vtuber, Liti's channel, and this is Intro to Cybersecurity. For this series, we are going to have an introduction to cybersecurity, and I hope that all of you can join me in this journey. Just to have some fun with cybersecurity. So on screen here, we have this website called Have I Been Pwned? So you can search for your email address. If your passwords for this email has been leaked, then this service will tell you. Okay, so however, use this website at your own risk, as with any tool that you find online. Okay, so next, we have this concept called live cyber threat map. We can see where attacks are happening live, say from which country to which country. However, this doesn't mean that the country is attacking another country. It just means that the attack, be it from a proxy or a VPN, is going through the servers located at a certain country. Right, so first things first, let's talk about what kind of hackers there are. Okay, firstly, it's the white hat. So white hat is where all the legal hacking happens. So we always want to be the white hat hacker. Okay, so we always have permission. I'll talk more about that in a while. Right, so on the other spectrum, there is the black hat hackers. So these can be from anybody from like hobbyists or hacker organizations that does all the illegal activities. Okay, so this is black hat. Everything is illegal. And so for everyone else in the middle, they are called gray hat. Okay, but for us, we want to be 100% white hat, so that we will not get into trouble. Okay, so what's the difference between a white hat and a black hat hacker? It all boils down to permission. So white hat hackers always have a permission, always have even a contract, okay, to help test like web apps or networks for organizations. There is always a clearly defined scope, so that we do not accidentally bring down someone else's web app while we are testing officially. Okay, or like their backend servers, we don't want to mess with unnecessary environments. Okay, and sometimes clients will give us testing environments so that we can test in a separate environment from the production. Of course, there may not be a testing environment for us to use. That's okay, but as long as the scope is clearly defined and we have permission to test these environments. Okay. Next, let's talk about this hacking process. Okay, we have this 7 steps called the cyber kill chain, and this diagram is taken from the lockheedmartin.com. Okay, so Lockheed Martin is a major defense contractor for the US. Okay, and they have come up with this 7 steps. So first, it's reconnaissance. Second, weaponization. Third, delivery. Fourth, exploitation. 5, installation. 6, command and control. 7, action on objectives. And let's have a look at each one. Okay, so first up, it's reconnaissance. Okay, so recon means we're trying to find out information, and the very first step is always passive scanning. Okay, so we can always find out what kind of information is publicly available. Okay, for example, of course there are tools and all that to use, but we can also just go into social media, okay, and find out, for example, a target organization. We want to know who are in the organization, what kind of roles are there, what kind of people are there. Do they like cats? Do they like dogs? If they like cats, maybe we can send maybe attackers will send a cute cat photo phishing email, and because they like cats so much, then they may click on the phishing emails, right? So we don't know. May or may not happen. Okay, but yeah, that's the possibility, right? So next, we can find out what kind of systems an organization uses, all from public information. So after we have found everything from the public domain, the attacker may start to scan web applications or networks. Okay, so do take note that at this step, if we do any active scanning on any web application, we already need permission to do it. Some scans are very aggressive and may cause some trouble for the application. That is why at this step, we should always have permission already. Okay, we will talk about how we do each of this step in later videos. Number 2, we have weaponization. Once we have found the systems that an application is using, for example, we can craft an attack or an exploit. In layman's term, we call this a virus, right? Or a malware as well. Okay, so for example, on screen, we have an exploit for PHP web applications. So if the application is vulnerable, okay, this 6 lines of code can be very destructive. Number 3, we look at delivery. How can we get the exploit to the relevant people or services? Some examples are phishing attacks. We have all heard about this. Attackers will send cat photos to people in the organizations, and whoever clicks on the photo or the file will get the virus. Famously, USB devices have also been dropped outside of offices. And when the staff picks up the USB thinking that, oh wow, I have a free USB to use now, and they plug it into their office's computers or their home computers, the virus is delivered to their computers this way. Number 4, how then do we trigger the exploit, or how then do we turn on the virus that has just been sent over? Right, so some examples are accessing the exploit from the web application. The act of clicking on the phishing email can be a trigger. Okay, and when the person plugs in their USB, it's also a trigger. 5, installation or persistence. How can we install or hide the exploit so that the attackers can access the target again? For example, the exploit may hide in other Windows processors. The virus may set itself to start on PC startup, so that every time the user restarts their PC, the virus activates as well. Sometimes the virus may name themselves as a trusted software, and we unknowingly just install it, thinking that that is trusted software. 6, command and control. Right, so now that the virus is in the target PC or server, how then can an attacker gain control and retain control? So for example, the attacker may need administrative permissions. So the attackers will have to conduct further attacks called privilege escalation to get the administrative privileges. Another example is if the virus will deactivate our firewall or create some exceptions in the firewall so that the attackers can connect into this computer. Finally, we have actions on objectives. So for example, if the attacker is looking to capture any passwords, the virus may be keylogging. Okay, so even if in the first attack a keylogger wasn't present, because the attacker has connection now, attackers may install keyloggers after the first attack happens. Okay, right. So another example would be network sniffing or scanning within the victim's internal network, also called intranet. So this may be true more for organizations, companies, offices, or government offices. And thirdly, maybe attackers may change application code so that the application may send user information to the attacker without the organization knowing. So this is a quick look at the 7-step cyber kill chain, and I hope you have a basic understanding of what an attacker will do when they have a target to attack. This is the end of the first video. Learn, like, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.